Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always a delight to welcome these guests to the studio. We want to welcome Carrie Silverthorne and Nicole Donatmore. They are from the Tuscarawas Board of Developmental Disabilities. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And from now on, we'll just call that Tusk BDD. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Well, let's find out your exact roles there. First of all, Carrie, what do you do?
At Tusk PDD, I'm the Community Relations and Special Projects Coordinator.
And that all fits on one business card.
That all barely fits on one business card.
Very cool. Well, we'll get back to that. And Nicole, how about you?
And I'm the Fans Network.
And Fans Network, we're going to find out a lot more about, but what is that in general?
It's just kind of like a program to help connect the community to the people the board serves.
We kind of have a local celebrity here in the studio with us, Nicole Donatmore. A lot of people remember you as Nicole Donat, who was on Three Wishes with Amy Grant.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about your backstory.
Where do I start? It's a big, long story.
You know what? Let's start with Girl Scouts.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think that's when I first met you. You were a Girl Scout.
Yeah, I was a Girl Scout. It was, I was a junior, and I didn't go all the way to cadet. I stopped at junior. It was a bronze award, and I needed to do a project. And I love to read, and I love books. And I thought, hey, you know, that could be my project. And the mayor was like, hey, we need a library. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll collect books for the library. So that's what I did.
And you started collecting books for a library. But you didn't have a building, so you were keeping them where?
Keeping them in our house or in a storage building.
And as a junior Girl Scout, you collect...
That number slips in my mind. I think it was 1800 or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It was a lot of books. And pretty much every kind of genre. You really had a nice collection. So the dream came, we really need a building to keep these in. What happened next?
They just kind of sat around for a while, and then a program, Three Wishes, came into town, came in the New Philly area. And so we were actually going on vacation that day. But my mom said, go down to this casting call in New Philly and see if you can get, you know, maybe some interest and fill out an application or whatever. And so we went in, and they got us in first thing. And, you know, I did my spiel, I said my piece. And it was actually, we were on vacation, and my grandma called, and she said, make a wish or 3 wishes. Somebody wants you back. They had a casting call, and they want you back for more story. And so,
who did you speak with?
Oh gosh, I know it wasn't Amy at the time. It was more of her producers that were.
So producers were coming in, kind of fielding out what the different stories might have been. That was such a good show. I wish that were still on. They would take 3 really great stories and then grant these people's wish.
Yeah.
And I also remember the builder was pretty cute. Do you happen to remember his name?
Carter.
Yeah.
Carter Osterhaus. Yeah.
Yeah. So that had to be like not torture to be working with those folks, those people. And Amy Grant took a special interest in you.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that relationship.
She was the host of the show. Her and Carter were kind of like partners, co-hosts of that show. But she really liked horses. And then when she knew I liked horses, you know, we kind of formed a special bond over that. So it was pretty special.
You have a real affinity for horses. Have you done the horse therapy? Have you ever done? Is that how that came about?
I do the horse therapy. It's Clairop and Hartville, so it's a long way to go. And you know, they actually did one of their tapings there. She was on one of their older horses, and I was on a different horse at the time, and we did like a whole shoot, a whole day thing. So
tell me a little bit about the horse therapy and what that has meant to you, and what's that is like.
The horse therapy helps with, I have cerebral palsy, and it helps with my muscles and the stretch, so it's really good. And then my legs are like jello for like 2 or 3 days afterwards, but yeah.
Well, they wanted to surprise you with your own horse. How did that go?
His name was Spirit. He was a buckskin pony horse, but I think he was more of a pony. And they brought him into the program, and he wasn't really working out.
Yeah.
So
Spirit fit.
Spirit, yeah.
His name.
was actually my favorite show at the time, Spirit TV show.
Yeah.
So that's where the name came from.
Wow. Well, do you have a horse now of your own?
Yes, his name is Jack. But he's getting up there in age, and so sometimes he doesn't feel very well. But he's a good horse. He's stubborn, but he's a good horse.
And he was a lot calmer than Spirit.
Yes.
That's worked out pretty well. Well, as far as the library then, I remember a grand opening. Tell me a little bit about seeing that all come to fruition.
Oh my gosh, the grand opening was just fantastic and huge. There was a lot of times where the library is in the middle of town in Mineral City, so they would tell my parents, you got to take the long way around because you can't see this. And the grand opening, they pulled the bus up, and I was in middle school at the time, so it was the whole Tusky Valley Middle School.
Yeah.
And it was just everybody there, and I thought, geez, that's a lot.
I think
it was awesome.
Everyone was so impressed that here we are. This has all really come to be. And is it still called the Nicole Donat Library?
Yeah, they call it the Village of Mineral City Nicole Donat Library.
Very, very cool. Do you ever get over there?
Not recently.
Well, you're kind of busy.
Yes, very busy now.
Let's connect the dots. Let's bring everybody up to speed now. You're a married woman.
Yes, married 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now you've got quite a career going with the Tuscarawas Board of Developmental Disabilities. Tell us a little bit about the Fans Network and what you're doing.
Okay, well, first I started out as an intern it's actually a consignment store, Charmed. And I worked that for a while, and then they approached me and said, we got this, several counties have this Fans Network, and we want to get this down here in Tuscarawas County. So it's connecting the community in Tuscarawas County to the people that the board serves and getting the word out there and saying, hey, these people are, they're people and they can do things, and we do fun things, and we do games, and we do a book club and stuff.
Carrie, you had to be so excited to have Nicole, who is the embodiment of that idea that, hey, these people have a lot of abilities. Let's not focus on a disability.
Yeah, for sure. I think.
Go ahead. When she walked through your door, you thought, oh, yes, sign her up right now.
Well, actually, Nicole was interning when I started working at the county board. So she had just started interning, and that's how I met Nicole, and little by little pieces of her story, we'd talk here and there. I got to know her a little more, and whenever we were looking at this Fans Network, it was just kind of one of those like glaring obvious things where it was like, okay, well, we have this person who, really would want to do this, or I thought that you would want to do this, and it just fit. It was just, it was just the perfect fit. So yeah, we were very excited. I pushed for her to, hey, you should do this, You
had to convince her?
Well, I mean,
Didn't really have to convince me anything.
I wasn't sure, I in my mind, I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity for Nicole. This is a great opportunity for the board. We can get this program going with someone who I believe will be very passionate about it and want to do this. Because you have that, you have to have a passion for it. And, those were my thoughts, but I don't know. I didn't know if that was something that you wanted to pursue. You had just finished interning. Maybe you wanted to go get a different job. I didn't know, but I knew I had to at least make the offer.
And how did you respond?
I said yes, of course, because actually my job experiences prior to that were not very good at all. I graduated from Kent State with a bachelor's, and I thought, well, I could do so much with that. And I had a job coach, and, the only thing they could find for me was Goodwill. And I said, I can do so much better than a Goodwill cashier. So I was searching for a long time, and then I saw it Charmed in the newspaper. And so I called the number and I said, hey, is this, going to be a possibility? Because I think I could really do this, and that would be awesome. And it was the board does 6 month internships for interns to have retail experience, and so that's how I started out.
Perfect. And you must have just great relationships with other people using the program. Sometimes when someone sees someone that has also benefited from the Tusk BDD,
Right.
then they can say, you know what, we've got a lot in common, and you bring out the best in them as well.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
I've made a few relationships with a couple people the interns that come in and out. So it's been good.
So you oversee some of the interns.
Yeah.
And you were able to say, I was in your shoes at one point.
Yes, I did this. I can understand.
Well, you know, it's not easy to get any program up and running, but
That's true.
this really has really taken off. So let's talk a little bit about where it was and where it is.
Well, when we started, there was just an abstract idea, basically, the Fans Network. Like Nicole said earlier, not every county, quite a few counties have them. They're all very different because every county in Ohio is very different. So it's basically, coming up with, how do you want this to look? How does this fit into your community, and what does your community actually need? What kind of purpose is this going to serve? I think the hardest part was coming up with, taking an abstract idea and trying to come up with a solid, program or way to go forward. And it's funny because I think as we go along in time with this, the opportunities keep coming. I'll be sitting in a meeting and I'll think, oh, that would be perfect for the Fans Network. And then I'll shoot her an email and I say, okay, just think about this for a little bit, And so we're constantly kind of just, coming up with ideas on how can we incorporate this into the Fans Network, and how can we make this something that the community values. So it went from an abstract idea to, have we finished our first full year? We finished our first,
I think so.
in April?
Yeah.
Or was it March? I can't remember. It's been a little over a year now because we had a launch party, and so
Our launch party was, I think, April 26th. I think, Susie, you covered that maybe a
I think
little
so.
bit. Yeah.
So it's been about a year, or you're about to close into your first year?
Yeah, we're coming up on our first year.
You've accomplished a lot.
I think so.
I mean, as we're all sitting here going, has it been about a year? That's just amazing where you've come. Well, let's talk about that very first, the needs that you identified in the very beginning. As you say that some communities require different things than other communities. What did you identify as maybe goal number one?
I think one of the things that we identified selfishly together was that we both loved books, and we both really bonded over that. So we decided it would be cool to start a book club for people in the community, people with and without disabilities that could participate in that together to kind of help people build relationships and get to know one another, and for people in the community that maybe don't have the opportunity to join a book club, with people who have disabilities, maybe they never thought about doing that before, to come and join a book club and, just find out, hey, we're all just people, we're all just love books. So we thought it would be a fun way to get people gathered around something that was a common interest.
Very cool. We're speaking with Carrie Silverthorne and Nicole Donatmore. They're from Tusk BDD. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.